Alrighty. Hi everyone. Hopefully everything is working fine right now. Oh, forgot to do that. Alright. Hi! Good evening. Good to see you guys. Why did I open this? We're supposed to start with our black screen first. That's what I keep forgetting to do. Alright, we are here now. Welcome to session 35. I'm so sorry I'm a little bit late. I had to squeeze in a little bit of like tasks to do before I came here, so I'll get on that under greeting. But first, let's just go ahead and start with chapter session 35. Sorry. Alright, so today's stream itinerary. Sorry, I forgot to update this. It should be 14 and 15, not 12 and 13. This was from last time. So we have our greeting, English for everyone chapter. You know what? I'm just gonna fix it because this is gonna bother me and I'm gonna forget about it later on. So we're gonna change that to 14 and 15. Boom. And we're done with that. So we are on chapter 14 and 15. Then we have our questions, comments, concerns. So I see you guys are on here again on YouTube. To see you. Thank you for joining me again, and sorry for the long wait for you guys. So yeah, just to let you guys know, today is February 13. So tomorrow is February 14, which is Valentine's Day. So as you can see, I had a lot of things that I needed to do. So after I finished work, I went straight to 3 different shops or 3 different places. I went to 2 shops to buy some candy and flowers and balloons for my family. I also bought candy for my kids just to celebrate for Valentine's Day. And yeah, I think that's all I'm thinking of right now at the top of my head. I will also be working on the stream for tomorrow morning. Since it is Valentine's Day, I really want to focus on having a stream that's dedicated to Valentine's Day. I will be revisiting a topic that I created in the past. I don't know if I still have it, but I will probably post it here. I love that presentation that I did last year. I think it was done on a previous job, and I don't think I have that video recorded anymore. So I'm happy to redo it again through YouTube, so you guys get an opportunity to understand Valentine's Day. So yeah, look forward to tomorrow morning. Fingers crossed too. I really hope I'm not gonna fall asleep. I have to do a lot of things after I end today's stream, so I have to do the next stream for tomorrow morning and the stream after that on Thursday. And then I also need to prepare stuff for my work tomorrow. So like I have to make my lunch and dinner. I also have to prepare my drink, my matcha, strawberry matcha ale that I make for myself. And yeah, just a lot of prepping for tomorrow morning so I don't have to worry about coming to work late, just in case there's another accident, because LA traffic is no joke. The moment there's an accident that happens, always expect a 10-minute delay. So if it says I'm arriving at 8:10 p.m., I'm actually gonna arrive 8:20 p.m. So I always have to watch out for that. And I realized, you know, I can never leave the house by 7 o'clock. I have to leave by 6:50, which kind of sucks, you know? So you can see my time and schedule is really tight. So I'm hoping tomorrow, after today, I actually feel a little bit invigorated. So I was asking myself this question this whole day. I was like, I need an inspiration to motivate me to be back on the grind, because I just feel like I'm going through a motion where I just want to rest. And I've been sleeping in on purpose past 4 o'clock because I wake up at 4, but then I purposely go back to sleep because I'm like, give me another 5 minutes, another 10 minutes, another 30 minutes, etc. And before I know it, I have to stream. So as you can see, it's just like, I just feel more tired and I want more sleep and rest. But yeah, hopefully if I do everything the night before, I should be good by then. So yeah, that's about it. Alrighty, so enough about myself. Let's go ahead and jump straight to the lesson. We have English for everyone. Chapter 14 and 15, excuse me. Let me also pull up that tab. Okay. So we have vocabulary, room, and furniture. We're gonna review this part. Again, I don't know if I'll be spending too much time on the pronunciation. I will just do like repeat it 3 times. The first time it's gonna be the natural or like normal speed that I say it. The second time I will be stressing the word so you can hear all of the sounds. And the third time I will say it again in the normal speed. And then if you guys are watching this after this recording, good for you, because you can repeat that as much as you want, and you can basically shadow or just repeat what I'm saying here. So the first word we have is plants. 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 We have, this is interesting here, these 2 words actually in the US we can use both, are interchangeable. Interestingly, I just feel like the words are kind of more specific in the US, so I don't know if UK uses garden more. But yeah, let me just say the words first. First, we have yard. For US, we have front yard, and we also have backyard. Yard. Front yard. Backyard. Front yard. Yard. Backyard. Yard. Okay, and then we have garden. 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 Okay, so let me talk about the nitty-gritty things about these word choices, because I just feel like this is really important in terms of specifications. We do use these words interchangeably in the US as well, but the garden is more like if you actually have flowers, and you can see it's obvious that you grow a flower garden yourself, or you have a plant or vegetable garden, then it would be garden would be the most appropriate word for it. So we would refer to garden typically in the backyard because we want it protected, right? Or we can refer garden to just the area where all of the roses, or like, sorry, the roses, all of the flowers or all of the vegetables are located, and we would call that the garden, right? We have a specific place for it. But if we were to call the area, like all of the grass and all the plants in the front of the house, it would still be considered a front yard, but the small area where you made a dedicated flower garden, that would be called the garden, right? So it's very interesting that we kind of narrow it down and specify it, but genuinely, we could technically get rid of the word yard and just say garden if that entire area is taking up the collection of, you know, vegetables or flowers. So, for example, in my very first home when I went to America, my grandfather had a flower garden in the front yard. So we normally wouldn't call it the front yard because the entire yard was covered in flowers. Like, there was a flower along the fence. So everywhere you looked around, there's flowers everywhere. So we just referred to it as the garden, right? But if my grandpa had a front yard and he had maybe the corner of the area with flowers, and that would be the dedicated garden area. So we would say that's a garden, it's in the front yard. Does that make sense? So that's what I mean. We do use both words in US. It's just specifying if we do. So let's say you don't have a garden, you don't have a vegetable garden or a flower garden, then what would it be called? Just a yard, you know? So for example, my house that I currently live in, we don't have a dedicated flowers or anywhere. We just have the front yard or the backyard. That's it. We don't have any dedicated stuff that we put there other than maybe things that we're storing away, etc. So that's something to this in terms of understanding these two words. It's just like I'm being a little picky on this because I feel like it's specification. This is where it all comes down to it. All right, so the next word we have is lawn. Lawn. So lawn is a patch of grass. So basically it can be a small, I mean, the whole general area, as long as it has grass, it's a lawn. That's what it's called. So your yard, let's talk about the front yard, has a lawn by default. Yeah. So, or backyard has a lawn too. If you have grassy areas, it's called a lawn. That's all you have to know. If it doesn't have any grass, we don't typically call it a lawn. We just call it backyard, front yard as the title. Does that make sense to you guys? So again, the whole hierarchy is front or backyard. And then this is basically the umbrella, right? We can narrow down and then we could say we have a garden. Or we can say we have lawn if there's grass, basically. A grass area. That's what I'm trying to say here. There's a grass area. Or maybe I should just move it over here. Grass area. Okay. So lawn or grass area. That's typically what it is. If you don't have a garden or if you don't have grass in the front or backyard, then you would just call it front or backyard. That's it. Just keep it simple. So I hope I was able to kind of paint the idea of these specifics, because I kind of find that this is a little bit misguiding in terms of US English, because we do use the word garden, but it's only if we have something like a vegetable or flower garden. Yeah. So next word we have lawnmower, lawnmower, lawnmower. Next, door, door, door. Next word, bed, bed, bed. So you might notice I might enunciate the D if I am saying it in slow pronunciation. I say bed. I can actually just say bed. And notice that the D is not enunciated or it's not aspirated. It doesn't have to be. It just depends on conversational English. We tend to drop the aspiration, or is that what it's called? Or the enunciation. So the stress of that consonant, we typically drop it. So for example, I gotta go. I don't say I gotta go. I say I gotta go. So notice that it's gone. So I think they call it the flap in terms of linguistics term, is that we get rid of the t sound, right? From the T sound, and also duh for bed. The enunciation's kind of just flapped is the expression. I believe that's what it's called. I know you looked it up a couple times, but I'll double check that again in the near future. So hopefully I'm correct, but if not, my edited version of this stream will probably correct me if needed. But anyways, we have the next word. We have closet, closet, closet. So again, the stress here, since it's a double syllable, it's going to be at the front part. Closet. We don't say closet, right? That's a different one. So it's closet. Next, we have UK, wardrobe. So the stress is also here. Wardrobe, wardrobe. Again, I think in the US, we don't really care what we call it. The most common is a closet. We do say the word closet more often than wardrobe, but they're interchangeable. So they're both synonyms. Sorry, let me go ahead and erase that. I just wish I had my button here that could work as like an auto eraser, but it doesn't work like that. So S-Y-N. Synonyms. So synonyms meaning like they're interchangeable. We use either or, just depends on the person. But most likely the more common expression we do use in the US is closet. I actually have a closet, an open closet, and then I also have another closet like built into my room. So I have like two of them because I have too many clothes. Then we have chest of drawers. I'm gonna put this in parentheses because most of the times we just call it drawers. That's it. Like, where's your drawers at? So you might hear different accents of this one. People might say drawers. People might say drawers. So they're both accepted. It's like potato, potato. Doesn't matter. They're the same word. It's just a different accent being used. So I'm gonna repeat this again. Chest of drawers or drawers. Stress is in the first syllable. Also, I realize I'm marking them in the wrong spot. I'm sorry. It's supposed to be at the front. Boom. There you go. That's the marking for linguistics. If I put in the middle here, that means this second part is the stress. So I messed it up. I'm sorry. should be the front one. So drawers. Okay. Bedside table. We have bedside table, bedside table, bedside table. So again, this is kind of treated as individual words, one syllable, but they were just put together, as you can see here. So in terms of stress, they're the same. Bedside, bedside, right? They just put the words together, making that compound word for you guys. But essentially, they're kind of the same. I think this one is stressed longer. Bedside, bedside, bedside table. So if you need to, I would say stress bed a little bit longer if needed, if you really care about that. But I kind of see it as if you say bed and side next to each other, they kind of feel like they're the same stress. Bedside, bedside table. And then table is stress at the front. Table, not table. Table, bedside table. Okay, next we have mirror, mirror, mirror. Okay. Next we have computer, computer, computer. Oh, I think the stress is not the beginning, it's the Q. So computer, you don't say computer, or you don't say computer, it's computer. So now I can put the dash here because I'm stressing it's this middle part that has the most stress. Okay. We have desk, desk, desk. Table, sorry, I'm gonna say normal speed. Table, table, table. Chair, chair, chair. Lamp, lamp. Sorry, I keep forgetting to stress it because my brain is going doot, 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 doot. All right, so lamp, lamp, lamp. Also, I kind of realized belatedly, welcome Farcelucha for joining. I don't know if you're still here, but thank you for joining me in today's stream. Also, one second, I just didn't get to respond to my friend yet. Okay, I'll respond to him after my stream. Next we have the word, oh, here we are, television. So you can just say the acronym TV. That's the most common and the one that we would normally say. We say television, television. I think it's the stress should be at the front. Television, 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 television. You can see I'm trying to I'm trying to mess around with the stress, and I feel like it's gonna be the first one. Television, or just say TV. So again, television, TV, television, TV, television, TV. I think when I say it quickly, I feel like the V is more of the longer stress, but technically both of them have the vowel stress. TV, right? But I think I cut down the T faster, so V is more of the stress here. So TV versus TV. Oh wait, TV. Turn off the TV. Okay, never mind. The stress is in the first one. Turn off the TV. So the stress is the first one here. I apologize. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not really good when it comes to the stress. I think it's something I've battled or had the most difficulty throughout my entire ESL and also as a native speaker. When people tell me, where's the stress? I'm gonna be honest, I just learned it like maybe a couple years ago. Because I never felt like I had to study stress in my academics before. So when that one time that we did study about stress, I was like, or like did an activity on stress, I was like, what's that? How do I know where the stress is? But now I do know how to do it, which is funny. I never had to worry about it back in the day, but I think at this point, now that I'm a linguist, I really care about where the stress pattern is going, and it's reflecting in my acquisition of Japanese right now, so yeah. Going back to the topic, we have armchair. 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 So again, these are just individual syllables put together. When you say arm and chair together, armchair, you're just putting them together. I don't hear so much of a stress between them, but if there was, I would say arm would be it. Armchair versus armchair, right? So armchair. If you want to, typically it's the first or the second syllable that's stressed for vowels. I mean, nouns, from what I've noticed, but we shall see. Next we have couch or sofa. So again, this is another example of synonyms. I'm gonna put SYN just to keep it short. So couch, sofa, or synonyms, we call it whatever. Honestly, it just depends on the person. Doesn't really matter which one you refer it to. You can say go sit on the couch or go sit on the sofa. Doesn't matter. We use both in the US. So couch, couch, couch. Sofa, sofa, sofa. So again, if you, for the double syllable, sorry, if there's two syllables, usually it's the first one in most cases. There's always exceptions, but in most cases, nouns are in the first syllable if it's between two. If it's three syllables, it can be the first syllable or the second, or second being the middle. So it's either one or the other. That's what I've been noticing in terms of noun trends for stress patterns. But yeah, it just really depends on the word. We have the next one, cushion. 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 Okay. I think I didn't say the slow word. I'm so sorry. I need to just remember it. So let me reset. Cushion. 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 Next we have rug. 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 Alright, I need to call this out here because we don't call it a basin in the US. Okay? This is where I think I need to put this as a label. We call this a sink. Right? Go wash your hands in the sink. We don't say basin. So yeah, this is one of the examples where I'm like, you definitely need an English or US or UK. I don't know if UK, because this book is basically based on UK English. They're throwing in a lot of US examples. So that's why there are moments where I'm like questioning. I'm like, I don't know if this is American, US grammar, because it looks more of like UK grammar. But in terms of this vocabulary, we call it a sink. And this is more common in the US. Again, I'm gonna start with the basin first. So we have basin, 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 sink, sink, sink. Next one we have bathtub. So again, another example of compound. I just feel like it's bath and then tub. You can see from UK they have the original word just bath. That's it. So bathtub, bathtub, bathtub. And then UK is just bath. 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 Okay. We have shower. 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 Next. Toilet. 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 Next we have towel. 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 Alrighty, next word we have light. 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 Okay, I would say this one's actually quite accurate in this example. We have stove, which is actually something I would refer if I were to go in the kitchen. When I was cooking dinner for my family today, I cooked something on the stove. I don't say cooker. So this is actually accurate, I would say. I don't know about the UK. I don't know if they refer to it as cooker. I don't know. Maybe they call it stove too. I don't know. But yeah, we got stove, stove, stove. So as you can see, the O is being stressed long here. Also, Hakezu says, welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you, Hakezu. Good to see you again. Thank you for joining me and leaving a comment there. We have, okay, this one's interesting. As far as what I know, we refer to the top part here as the freezer. So I don't know if this is switched. I'm gonna actually put a question mark on this because I'm actually curious. And the reason why I put this here is because my family and I typically refer to the top part as the freezer. The bottom part is the, what's the word for it? Sorry. The bottom part is essentially the refrigerator. So this as a whole is the refrigerator. I don't know if it'll pop up later. I think I might have a spelling here. Refrigerator. I think that's the actual spelling. The reason why you guys saw that I put a D is because if we were to refer to it, we also call it this, fridge. So notice the D is dropped, or it was added. That's right, Hakezu got it. So refrigerator, the original word, did not have a D in there, I believe. I'm actually gonna double check, because spelling sucks in English. Okay, I'm gonna go to Google first. I'm gonna put the dictionary word, define refrigerator. See, okay, yeah, so I was right. So notice here, there is no D. Where did the D come from? Right? Why didn't we just keep it as fridge like this, right? F-R-I-G-E. Why didn't we keep that? Because English, we have problems. Don't know. Because the thing was, we hear a D sound, that's why we add the D. Fridge. Technically, we could drop the D, but I think D and G together in spelling makes the J sound. J. Just like the J. So think about the J. For, actually, let me do a different color so you guys can refer to it. So I can write a note in a different color. Let's do that. So, for example, the D and G sound is supposed to simulate the J sound. Okay. Or in terms of IPA, this is actually the representation of it. So it's like D and J put together. The J as in genre, it happened because of French. Okay. So interestingly, majority of the words that we have here in terms of the kitchen appliances and food, it's French origin. So that's why we have these kind of contradiction in English rules and spelling. It's because the origin came from French. That's where it came from. So in English, we have the word refrigerator as the original word for this as a whole. So again, second time, refrigerator, and the stress is happening here. Refrigerator. Okay, no. That's what I thought. Okay, my mistake. I'm telling you guys, this is hard for me too. Refrigerator. So this is where the main stress is coming from. Refrigerator. Instead of refrigerator. So this one is a stress too. I think it's also posted here. Where is the stress? Yes, here. So you can see here there is this the symbol I wrote here for you guys for reference. Let me also zoom in so you guys can just see it. This is helpful for me as a linguist because I can tell where it's happening. If I see that little comma at the top here, this is telling me this is where the stress begins. So the stress happens in fridge. So it's not refrigerator, it's refrigerator. So it's the second syllable that has a stress. Did we pass through fries or chips? I don't think so. Not in the... This is just appliances or like stuff inside the house. So that's just today's lesson. It's just rooms and furniture. That's what we're just covering for today's lesson. All right. And then we can see here that we just took the main stress, because if you think about it, English likes to do a lot of shortcuts. Instead of saying refrigerator, that's 5 syllables, refrigerator, we just took where the main stress is, which is fridge. So just fridge. There you go. And the spelling is affected because D and G is supposed to simulate the J sound. Because English. I don't know, English, just because English. And it's also because of loan words. So let me write a note here. French origins. So loan words. So these are just extra notes for you guys. This is from what I learned in my historical linguistics and my English history courses in linguistics. So we took a lot of words in English, which is why English is a difficult language, is because we took from French, we took from Latin, we took from... where else did we steal from? German. Yeah, we took a lot. So there's a lot of exception rules because English is a mixture of these languages, and it sucks. So finding a rule and explaining them is just more like, cause English. Yeah. So if I say cause English, it's probably because it's a loan word origin story, because we took it from another language. Yeah. And I don't really know it all at the top of my head, so forgive me. I am kind of limited on stuff like that. I will do more of my research in the future. So yeah, it'll be fun. We're gonna dive into that whole of English history later, and I still have my notes from university, but I will also do other research on top of that. So yeah, stay tuned for that in a future stream, or maybe in a podcast. All right, so let's move on. We have microwave. So we have microwave. So this is a stress right here. Microwave. 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 Okay. We have here. Oh, I totally forgot to repeat these words. I am so sorry. Forgive me, guys. So these words here, this is what we're looking at. This is what it's supposed to stress. We talked about fridge and refrigerator here. This top part, in terms of at least what I know, I don't call it the icebox. I call it the freezer. So that's why I put this little arrow of switching question mark, because I don't know. When I hear the word icebox, I think it might be US as well, but different parts of the US would refer to this top part as the icebox. At least for me and my friends in California, we refer to it as the freezer. So, I don't know. Also, icebox could kind of refer to... Actually, no. I don't know icebox. We have ice chest, which is different. Because basically it's a chest where you put ice, and it's usually what you bring when you go to the park or to the beach, so it's different. So this is... It makes sense, though. It would be an ice chest because this is an ice box, you know? But I just call it freezer. Alright. So I'm gonna pronounce these words. We have icebox, and the stress is on the I here. Icebox. Icebox. Freezer. 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 Okay. Now we can jump back to washing machine. Sorry, guys. We have washing machine. Washing machine. And this is second stress here. Machine. No. Machine. I keep forgetting this rule. So I'm learning as you guys are. In 2 syllables, typically the first word is stressed for nouns, I think. So washing machine. Washing machine. Washing machine. So notice how I'm saying it, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, this is giving me a headache. Did I say machine, or did I say machine? Washing machine. Okay. Interesting. The stress is in the second one. So if I were to look it up, just, you know, always want to be safe than sorry. Because they already did the work for me. There you go. So it proves a point to always double check if needed. Machine. So the sheen part is the stress. So it's not machine, it's machine. Good. Also, Haka is saying Frieza. Yes, that's right. Alright. Next word we have dishwasher. Again, treat it as two separate words made into a compound. Dish. Dishwasher. The dishwasher. But if I'm saying it as one word, I could kind of say washer would be more of the stress. Put it in the dishwasher. Put it in a dishwasher. Dishwasher. Oops, let me put it together. Not defense. Define. Define. There you go. Define dishwasher. So notice here, again, they did treat it like what I thought. You know, when I mentioned to you guys, I said treat it like as two syllables, just put together for a compound sake. Also, oh my goodness, hi Kisei. Hello, thank you for joining me. Hello, hello. I just noticed your chat on Instagram, forgive me. For some reason, it's not like loading for my Discord, which is kind of weird. I don't know why, but yeah, it's there. So we have dish. You can see here that the stress takes place here, and then the second stress takes place at the front of washer. So we have dish washer or dish washer. Oh, okay. They just never mind. They put it at the front too. Okay. Dishwasher. I just see it as two separate words. Dishwasher. Okay. Next we have the cupboard, the cupboard. There's two ways to pronounce this. I don't think I can say the other one. I say cupboard. Can you get it? The cupboard? I say cupboard. Some people say cupboard. Cupboard. So it's interesting. Let's actually hear the pronunciation for it. Oh. Cupboard. Yeah, so they do pronounce it as cupboard. I say cupboard. I've said it wrong my whole life. It's just so funny for me. So, I don't know why. So what happens is the P is dropped. When my sister and I both are from a Filipino first language household. So we would always call it the cupboard. So we actually pronounce it as we read it, but it's actually pronounced as cupboard. So it's almost like bird, right? That's basically what I see it as being pronounced here. Cupboard. Interestingly. So my sister and I have not said this word correctly our whole life. We call it the cupboard. You can grab, like when we say, where can you grab, for example, where can I find my plates? My plates are in the cupboard. So notice how I say it? Yeah, I've said it wrong my whole life. And I don't think I will ever correct myself on that. Yeah, the board for cups, that's right. Hakazu says the board for cups. So great, you're very smart. I love your humor. Yeah, apparently it's pronounced cupboard. So if you were to say this word, the stress takes place in the first position. So right here. Cupboard. So if you want to remember saying this correctly, because I'm gonna say it incorrectly, because that's how I knew it as, remember to just drop the P sound. You say it so quickly, you just say and bird. You see, this is these are some examples of inconsistent spelling rules. Or exceptions. I'm gonna just write over it, so sorry guys. So I call it the spelling inconsistency or exceptions because the way it's written is not how it's being said. Another example would be like, what's a good example? Colonel, right? Colonel. How do you say colonel? Shoot, I don't even remember how to pronounce that word. It said something else. Hakezu said hashtag just English things and put an emoji. It's like a heart emoji, thank you. How do we spell colonel? Oh yeah, colonel. This is a perfect example of just like one of those spelling rules where it's an exception or a spelling inconsistency. So you just have to remember how it's spelled and you have to remember how it's pronounced. They're different from each other. So cupboard is an example of colonel. Colonel is not pronounced as colonel. It's not colonel, it's colonel. And I'm just like, it makes me so crazy seeing stuff like this. I'm like, why don't you spell it like how you say it, right? You should, this is what I asked too. I'm like, why? Where did this word come from? So from what I see here, we have columna from Latin, colonna from Italian, and we also have the French colonel. And in... I'm just like, what? Wait, what? Okay. English. What happened? I see what happened here is that the R, as you can see down the line, there's an L and R switch, which is common because if you look at linguistics, L and R are on the same chart with each other. They're both... Let me just pull up the IPA table so you guys can see what I'm talking about. IPA table. Yeah, let's just do IPA chart right there. Gosh, so annoying. It's right here. So the L is an alveolar, and the R that we pronounce is right here too. Then we also have the R here, the rolling R, like the trill, ra, ara from Spanish. Pourquoi or something like that. I don't know if they roll their R's with por. Uvular R, I think is where the French is. The sound. It's back here, uvular. So it's interesting that for some reason maybe it was too difficult to say maybe. I have a really bad French accent, so I apologize. I'm trying to apply what I do know of French pronunciation. So maybe saying this was a little difficult, or maybe it just changed spelling over time. I don't know why it switched, because original you can see it started with L, then it switched to R, and then we decided we're gonna keep the L instead. So forget this. We have the spelling of how it's gonna be pronounced. But in mid-16th century, we're gonna keep the pronunciation, but we're gonna change the spelling. English, what happened? So yeah, you can see my frustrations. I'm just like, we can't spell what we hear and see, which is, oh my god. So this is just one of those examples of spelling in English where you gotta memorize the spelling and you gotta memorize the pronunciation because they're not the same. So sorry for my off spiel, but this is just an example of why some words in English are not trustworthy, because we have a lot of exceptions because it's a borrowed word, and we already know that kernel, for example, and we know, I think cupboard, sorry, not cupboard, cupboard, sorry, I'm just fuming over this. Cupboard, let's see if they have their origins listed here. It's from English, so we have cup and board put together make cupboard in late Middle English. So late Middle English denoting a table or sideboard in which cups, plates, etc. were displayed from cups and board. But yet they pronounce it as cupboard. Why? Right? English, why? Where did you get this word from? The Brits probably call it the cupboard. Americans, I don't know if we say cupboard or we say cupboard. because I hear both. Well, actually, I say it as cupboard. I don't know who else calls it cupboard in America or California. So, my fellow Americans, please help me if you call it as a cupboard too, because I call it cupboard. Cupboard I've heard in terms of British English. I've heard it a few times. So yeah, I'm just like, what's happening? Help me here. But anyways, we're gonna jump back. I'm losing my mind over this. We have trash can. Sorry, I'm just moving on. Trash can. Trash can. Or in UK, bin. 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 It's nice, simple, easy, fun. Moving on, we have saucepan. 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 Then we have the frying pan. Frying pan. The frying pan. Okay. Also, yeah. Yes, Hakezu says trash can. Good. So next we have the word knife. 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 Also be aware, this is a spelling rule as well that's been affected. If you are gonna change it to plural, I'm gonna put this here as a reference. The F becomes a V. Because it's the reason why F becomes V, this is... Oh, sorry. I know I'm giving you guys so much information, and this is kind of jam-packed on it, so I apologize. But I truly hope with all my heart that this is super interesting for you guys. The F becomes V because when you say ES here, it sounds like a Z, right? So this is called the process of assimilation in linguistics. Assimilation basically means you want to go more towards, if it's gonna sound more as a Z, which is a what's the word for it? It is a voiced consonant. That's what word I was looking for. Voiced consonant. So because this is gonna sound like Z, instead of saying f and fz, it sounds weird, right? Fz versus vz, vz. It V and Z, vz, has a much better flow versus fz. It sounds a little bit weird because you hear the aspiration of the F transitioning into a Z, and it's a weird sound and it sounds really weird. So this spelling rule is because of assimilation of sound. So V would flow better with knives versus knives, right? You see how my mouth is kind of doing a really weird motion? That's why F turns to V. It's assimilation. That's why the spelling changed there. Also, Hakezu says, why is saucepan one word but frying pan two words? Great question. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. This came from French. French people, why? Why did you do that? So we have saucepan. Okay, that's actually a good question. So I actually want to explore it. Why is saucepan two words and not one word? I actually want to explore that because sometimes I don't even know the answer why. Saucepan is two words and not one word. So WH saucepan two words, not one. Okay. It's a countable noun. Saucepan is a deep metal cooking pot, usually with a long handle and a lid. So saucepan is formed within English by compounding. So why is frying pan? Why is frying pan two words? It's a distinct object, different from saucepan or any other type of pan. It is not any pan, it's a particular type of pan. So frying pan is a combination. Defines something distinctive and identifiable. Once again, this suggests that it is a compound noun. It is still a compound noun, but I think the reason why they separated it is just because saucepan... Actually, to be honest with you, I don't know the answer myself. It's a really good question that you asked there, and also, Hakezu put hashtag just French things, happy heart on emoji. I wish you guys could see it, but yeah, it's just so funny seeing that from your perspective. But great questions, actually, because a lot of the times in English, I really like that you pointed this out for me, because there are times where you're going to see 3 different options of what's happening in English. We can have a compound word, which is we put 2 words together, like dishwasher. We could also use it as an adjective. So for example, like high heels, right? So, oh, okay, I kind of get it. So saucepan is a compound word. They're meant to be together. It will never be separated because it's a specific type of pan, because you know what it looks like. That's a saucepan itself. Whereas these frying pans, why it's different is because it's a type of pan, but it's focused on frying. So I like to think that the word frying is being used as the adjective, and then the pan is looked as the noun. So I see it, sorry, it looks like a W. It's a noun. Okay, it's just an Amber Alert. We're fine. Okay. Please ignore my phone. Phone, I got it, okay. Got it. So we have frying pan is, frying would be the adjective, noun would be pan, whereas saucepan as a whole, in terms of, I'm looking at this from syntax or syntax. So we're looking at the word class. As a whole is just a noun. That's why. So here, when they put them together as a compound word, it becomes a noun class. Does that make sense? So it's all about linguistic stuff. That's the best I could offer from my understanding and looking at this. So if they become a compound word, it becomes dishwasher. If it is just like 2 separate words, you can say one is an adjective, one is a noun. Also, Hakezu says, oh yeah, missing child in Long Beach. Oh my goodness, so you got the same one too? Yeah, I got the alert saying that there was a child abduction or something. I hope that person will be okay, or the child is found. But yeah, just an Amber Alert. Anyways, we're looking at the word fork next. So we have fork, fork, fork. Then we have spoon, spoon, spoon. Next we have silverware, silverware, silverware. I think the stress is silverware. If I were to say silverware, nope, it's silverware for US. I think in the US we do use the word silverware more often if we are referring to all 3 of these, but we also use them as cutlery, right? So it just really depends on your background. So they're synonyms, but I call it silverware because they're specifically used for your food, right? I think cutlery is also a specific jargon, right? A specific jargon, especially if you are going to be in culinary. In the culinary jargon, so if you are a chef or if you're working towards becoming a chef, you might hear the word cutlery more often because I think cutlery is more dominant in UK and also in French. So you won't be referring to them as silverware, you'll say cutlery in terms of if you're in a culinary school. I think that's what I think or believe because I've been watching too much, it might be my thing for me because I kind of watch too much like Gordon Ramsay and all the cooking shows, so I hear cutlery more than I can hear silverware. Or it could just be a reflection of Gordon Ramsay's background being in the UK, saying cutlery. But we do refer it as silverware in US. When I go to restaurants, I refer it as, oh, can I have my silverware? I don't say, can I ask for my cutlery? But yeah, I think it's just a difference in terms of jargon. It could be. I think specifically in culinary, you'll say cutlery more. So yeah. But yes, that's why. I was saying, like, I hear cutlery from, like, cooking shows mainly because it's either because it's because of Gordon Ramsay's background, because he is from the UK, just like you said, Hakezu, or cutlery might be accepted as a normal jargon in culinary, if that makes sense. So what I'm saying is if you are a chef, you will say cutlery more than you say silverware. Does that make sense? Whereas if you're a butler, you would say silverware instead of cutlery, or actually maybe you could say both. I don't know. But it just really depends. But ultimately, I wrote it down as synonym, but maybe one could be used more than the other. It just depends on, number one, where you're from, and it also depends on the atmosphere of when you're using that specific language. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. I'm thinking about what to call this, because we don't call it the crockery. This is the closest I can think of. Sorry, my spelling. I'm also gonna double check it too, because you guys know that I care about accuracy. Interesting. You guys call it crockery here. I don't think we use crockery as a word in California, or when my friends and I buy those stuff. We call it dishware. So dishware, dishes used for food. All right, here it is. So synonyms for dishware: crockery is here. For serving or cooking food: dishes, crockery, tableware, or dinnerware. Good. So I'm really glad, because I thought it was called dishware, but here they actually have the words I was looking for. Tableware and dishware are actually more common than I would hear. So I'm gonna write it as other examples. So it was dishware, dinnerware, or tableware. I hope you guys can see that here. So of the three, I think the most common, this was the word I was looking for, dinnerware is actually the word. I just called dishwares because dish wares. Yeah, enough said. But I don't think we call it crockeries in the US. I think it's more of UK probably referred to that. But I do hear the expression dinnerware more often, or dishwares. So I hear these two the most. But if we're referring to them, I think it would be this one right here, dinnerware, as referring to them. So if you were to go shopping, for example, and buy new plates and cups, you would typically ask, oh, do you guys know where the dinnerwares are? Or where are the dishwares? I say dishwares. Yeah, at least I'm glad to hear that it exists, because defining it, it shows that it's not showing up. It says here, tableware. So there's another version of it. So I hear dinnerware as the most frequent in terms of this vocabulary here, and my friends use that expression more. So we would say, where are the dinnerwares? So we're talking about the plates and the cups. Yeah. So I would say these three would definitely be more like, I can't spell today, sorry, US. Yeah. So you have three ways to call it: dishware, dinnerware, or tableware. Hakezu says, you're not crazy, don't worry. Thank you. I feel very validated by you. Hakezu, please forgive me. I feel like we've met, and since you said Long Beach, I'm like, you are here in California. So thank you for coming. I don't know. I can't believe you woke up early too for this stream, so mad respects to you. Thank you for coming. But yes, the US, we have a lot of expressions for it: dishware, dinnerware, tableware, whatever you want to call it. Something ware. That's all you need to know. Something ware. But yeah, those are the most common expression. So I'm gonna repeat this slowly. We have crockery, crockery, crockery. I think. I say I think because I don't use that word. So where is the crockery, right? Yeah, crockery. They say crockery. Crockery, crockery, crockery. And we have dishwares, 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 dinnerwares, dinnerware, dinnerwares. Or so you can add with S or without an S, just really up to you. Tablewares, tablewares, cablewares. All right. We finally, I think, arrived to the end of this. Oh my god, I can't believe it took an hour. It's all right. We'll see how we'll go with this. I'll try to finish the next chapter too. We shall see. Because I spent a lot of time just talking about vocabulary, spelling, and everything that I know about linguistics with English. We have study. I'm just gonna say and point this out to you guys. This is not the typical American home. You can do whatever you want, right? So it's your house, your rules. Hakezu says awesome. Thank you. The way you arrange your house, I think it's only because the way it looks, that's the most important thing to focus on. It's not always the same or consistent across every household. So, for example, I'm just gonna give an example of a YouTuber that I follow on Instagram, and her name is Bubs Beauty. And what's interesting is that her house is kind of similar to this structure. And I realized because she has a 3-story home, so she has an upstairs. Well, she has a bottom floor, so she has a living room right here. Then she has a kitchen. Then upstairs is her bedroom and the bathroom. And then on top of that, if you go, I don't know if it's next door, if she climbs up one more flight of stairs, she has a study room. So I'm like thinking, this is interesting. Maybe it's a UK format kind of house, because my favorite YouTuber, she's Irish. So she's Irish Chinese. She was brought up in Ireland. So interestingly, I'm like, oh wait, her house is like similar to this. But anyways, that's something sorry. That's just something I've observed here. But all we really need to know is just the design of it. So Hakezu says, wow, Bubs, that's an old school YouTuber. I remember her makeup tutorials. Oh, you know her too! Yes! Before she had kids. Yeah, me too. I was actually a follower of hers before she had kids, so I followed her makeup when I was in middle school. I found her because I was looking for like tutorials on how to look like a vampire, and then I found her videos, and that point on I was like following her from that point on. She has a great personality. Love that woman to death. But yes, I was following her and I saw her new home in Ireland, and this is how she fashioned it. And I'm like, dude, that's so cool. So I guess it's UK. I don't know, UK fashioned. But anyways, we're gonna go back on point. We're looking at her study here. So, sorry, not her study, the study of this house. So we have a study room. There's another place we could call it. We could call it the office room. So, for example, in my own home, my house has the master bedroom, this bedroom for the kids. This is where me and my sister used to share a bedroom, and then she moved out during college. Then there was a guest bedroom, and there was also another bedroom which is next door or like behind me here. And we use that as the study room, or we call it the office. So this is just another option of what you call it, whatever you want to call it. So you can call it the study room. So this is where you do work, or you could call it the office room, or you could call it the work room. So there is a lot of synonyms. You could replace this word here. So workroom, office room, whatever, it's your choice. But the point is you want to make it like an environment where you can work. That's essentially the whole point of it. Okay, so next we have the bathroom. Bathroom. So again, the stress is coming from bath here. Next, I'm gonna slide this over. We have the bedroom. Bedroom. So what I kind of notice when I say this word is you might hear it as droom. Bedroom. I don't say bed, then room. I kind of merge D and R together, so I say like drive, as in drive, bedroom. Oh, interesting. So Hakezu said, is it a game room, not a common thing for households? There is a gaming room if you can dedicate it to that. It just depends on the owner. So sometimes even the office room, because this would be like the spare room, right? So I'm just gonna use a different color. Let's go with green. So this area is usually the spare room. So the spare room, you can do anything with it. So it can become an office or a study room, right? So it's just an empty room that you can, it's just an extra room, basically, right? An extra space. You can change it to anything you want. So if you want to make it into a game room instead of an office room or study room or whatever you want to call it, you can call it the game room too if you need. Because like what I did before was the office room that we have in this house, it was a game room. It was where we had the computer, where my cousins and my sister and I, we were always in that room to play video games. We took turns playing on the computer back when we were children. But you can see, we can call it whatever you want. It's just a spare room. You get to do whatever you want to call it. So game rooms, I also think there's another term for it. You could call it the playroom, right? It just has another, we have another connotation, the playroom. And I think this is where it comes from. And I'm gonna explore this a little bit with you guys. So the playroom, basically, we're saying this as, let's start with children, right? Let's pretend we're children. So when I was a child, the office room was also the playroom for me and my sister, because we were kids. This is where we played. This is where we had access to the computer, right? As we grew older, we don't call it the playroom anymore, because I feel like the word playroom has more of a childish kind of undertone. Do you guys kind of feel what I'm saying connotation-wise? When you say playroom, doesn't it feel a little bit weird to say that for like a middle school student or growing up, right? So it kind of feels like it has a very childish, very childlike connotation. So we graduate from the word playroom and we move up to the word game room, because now we're showing that there's been some sort of growth with the children. So now the children are like, basically, maybe they're in their older elementary school years, maybe 5th graders, 6th grade, middle school, and then high school. Then we don't call it the playroom anymore, it's a game room. So it's become more of the area where we play video games, watch movies, etc. So it can turn into that. So you can do whatever you want. And I feel like game room is more of the mature or the adult word of playroom, if that makes sense to you, right? The connotation is just, what impression does it give people? Because if I say the word playroom, I think of children. If I say game room, I think of older kids or adults. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. So great questions though, Hakezu, so feel free to keep asking. Alrighty, so our next word, we have the pronunciation in for this one, garage. If you are in the US, it's pronounced garage. And I'm gonna put a little spelling here reference for you, just because there's actually 2 pronunciations. It's like potato, potato. We have also, I'm gonna put the markings here too. This is the actual IPA. Raj. What's the ah sound again? This is ow. No. Garage. Oops. Okay. And then 2 dots there. Good. All right. This is IPA, and this is for my reference because this is US representation. You pronounce this as garage, and then these 2 dots are supposed to represent like holding the vowel a little bit longer, because you don't say garage, you say garage. So we're stressing the A a little bit longer here. And then of course we have this little fancy Z. This is from the French je suis Hana, right, for example. So je is here, garage. We also have the British pronunciation, which we say garage. So this is a different pronunciation. So garage. And I think it's a garage. It's different. So notice the difference in the pronunciation. We have garage versus garage, and they're not the same. So I believe, let's go to the, it's in the garage. It's in the garage. I think it's also in the first, the stress is located at the front as well. But this is for UK. Garage. That's a good way to point it. Garage. They don't say the word a as in like gay, right? You say ge. The garage. So it's more of an eh sound. So how do I write it down here? This one. Eh. Garage. That's more of the symbolism for these two. So it's not garage, it's ge. Eh. Eh. Right. Garage. Yeah. So I like to just point it out there. Just because there's a lot of videos. If you look up on YouTube, you're gonna find out there's like US versus British pronunciation of things. And that's just something I noticed. Garage. Yeah, that's right. So Hakezi did a different spelling. Garage. That's more accurate in terms of, I think that's what I hear in British. So just a reminder, I'm not a UK representative. I don't know my UK English that well. And my UK accent is horrible too. So yeah, forgive me. Please be lenient on me when it comes to UK because I don't know anything. I have some friends from the UK who I have not spoken to in years, but if I ever get in contact with my British friends, I would love to learn more if this is how they pronounce it and be more accurate as possible. I'm only limited to US and specifically California. All right, moving on. We have living room. Living room, stress here. Living room. We have the kitchen. 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 We have dining room. Dining room. Dining room. Dining room. Sorry, I had to repeat myself just because I forgot. All right. I think I need to do some parentheses here because what I'm trying to say here is we're dropping the word. As far as I know, or what I've also heard online or on TV, we don't say the whole word. We don't say apartment block. This entire thing is referenced as the apartment block, right? And just for reference, a lot of times we do like to drop words because English speakers in general, we like to take shortcuts. So we don't refer to this as an apartment block. We'll just say apartment. We just drop the block because it's assumed. We just drop it. That's all. We like to cut corners. And then here they have block of flats. Block of flats. I just hear them say flats. That's it. Let's go back to my flat. Let's go back to my apartment. I personally use the word apartment more. And then I learned about the word flat because of UK English. Also because when I lived in Indonesia, they followed more of the UK English. So when you refer to their apartment, you would say, let's go back to my flat, I think. But what's interesting is when I hear it in Indonesian language, we say apartement, I think. Apartement, I can't remember. It's in, we use the word apartment in Indonesian. But let me see if I can pull it up for you guys. So let's see, English to Indonesian. It's been a long time, so I think it's like, so apartmentku, I think. Let me double check that. So my apartment saya or apartementku. Yeah, let me say it a little bit longer. Apartemen saya, right? So apartemen saya is how they say it. So you can see they said the word apartment. So I'm like, but I hear them when they're speaking in English, they say flat. I'm like, but you say apartment. You say apartment in Indonesian. Why do you need to say flat? Yeah. So I rest my case. Appartement. Thank you. When I say appartement, I'm thinking about French, because I think in French they say appartement. Mon appartement. Yeah, mon appartement. That's how they say it. I don't know if you can hear it. Mon appartement is the pronunciation, which is what Hakezi wrote, appartement. But yes, if I were to just drop just say apartment, I think it's just appartement. Appartement. Yeah, I can't replicate it. I'm sorry. My French is always the worst pronunciation or accent because it takes a lot of practice for me to perfect it. But yeah, that's about it. All right, we are arriving at our last word for vocabulary. We do have the word house. So it's just house. If you guys want another vocabulary, we can say the word home. Right? House or home, these are both synonyms. Welcome to my house, welcome to my home. Either or. They are both okay. So again, house, house, house. Home, home, home. And then like Hakezu says casa. Muy bien. La casa. Mi casa es tu casa. So my house is your house. So here, I want to only point out one thing here. It's a little bit more of the advanced English that I'm gonna point out in terms of connotation. So I'm gonna put a representation here. And this is actually very interesting, and I'm gonna tell you a short story regarding Indonesia, because I think this is really interesting on how I use the word. When you use the word home, it's something you refer to as your safe place, right? And it's also something you refer as permanent. Okay. So this is in terms of connotation. So remember, connotation is more of advanced level English that we're talking about here. So let me write this as a note for you. So advanced connotation, if you say the word home, it's something where you feel very comfortable, where you feel safe, or it's something that's permanent. So if you refer to a place as your home, it's most likely going to be long-term, or it's going to be something that you typically associate as a safe place for you. When you refer to something as a house, there is no sentimental value to it. You're just referring to it as a building, a house. That's a house there. That's my neighbor's house. This is another house, another house, another house, right? So the word we kind of feel with house is that it's kind of surface level. So it's just a building. It's the word for the building. So in my during the time that I lived in Indonesia for the first few months, I referred to the place as my house. Let's go back to my place, or let's go back to my apartment. Let's go back to my house, right? Give or take maybe the second month in that I stayed in Indonesia, because I stayed there for 6 months. By the second month, I started calling it my home. So I started becoming comfortable in the apartment. I don't call it my apartment as much anymore. I drop it and say my house, right? Because if you were to compare the house and the apartment, you can tell what the difference are, right? House is, you have somewhere that's permanent, it's private, you have it all for yourself. Apartment is a building where you're kind of sharing with other people. So think of a dorm. So the moment you start saying home, you're kind of erasing these two. You're kind of disregarding what it's called. You're just looking at a safe place. That's a home. And this is more of connotation. So if you come across someone saying, okay, this is my house or this is my apartment, maybe they're not comfortable being at home yet. Or maybe they're introducing it to you formally. So they're calling it by the building. But eventually their language is going to change to saying my home. So if they keep saying my home, you know this is their permanent place and it's their safe place. So this is just a little bit of advanced connotation, and it's kind of it's related to discourse analysis and psycholinguistics. So yeah, a lot of linguistics analysis on these word choices, a lot of synonyms, thesaurus, whatever you want to call it. But these are some things I kind of noticed during my time when I moved abroad. Yeah. So I noticed Tariq Khanman 630 joined. Hello, welcome. I'm also gonna update my chat on here because it showed here, but for some reason it's kind of slow updating on YouTube or on Streamlabs. All right, so I kind of realized we've been talking on here for like almost an hour and 90 minutes, so we are definitely not gonna be able to cover for chapter 15. And this is kind of interesting because I would normally just zip through and just say listen and repeat. But we kind of deep dived on some of these words, like the spelling, the pronunciation, their origins, exception pronunciation. Also, while I'm at it, I should actually write the cupboard spelling consistency here as another example. So let me just put here another example. I know, I'm so sorry. Because it's like, oh man. So we have another example. The word is... I say colonal. I do that just so I can remember the spelling. And it's pronounced as... I'm just gonna put it as kernel. So this is my reference for you guys, but if you want to know the IPA pronunciation, I'm gonna also provide it. Kernel. Okay. There you go. So null. Kernel is the pronunciation. But this is IPA reference. Anytime I put a bracket, it's IPA. If it's gonna be in like these little, I don't know what to call them, apostrophes. In these apostrophes, this is just a representation of how it sounds. And then if I just put quotes like this, it's the actual word. If it helps you guys remember these different things. But yeah, I do my best to give you guys a lot of things out of what you're learning for today's lesson. And unfortunately, I wanted to do daily routine, but yeah, I don't think I have time to do it today because I really wanted to focus on vocabulary. And this is kind of long for 15. So I'm gonna update today's stream and just put chapter 14 that we just focused on. And we will be practicing using these words. Let's see. We will try to practice these words maybe next week. So not this week. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. So tomorrow's stream is going to be focused on Valentine's Day. And we will be talking about daily routines later. I think what we can do is on Thursday, I could kind of focus on description. So remember how we did the adjective order this morning? We could probably do that again with chapter 14, which is describing what you have in your house, how many rooms or layers you have. But I think I have to provide more grammar for you guys just because we didn't get to dive into stuff in regarding like if you have a first floor, second floor, etc. This one here is just more like focusing on using the target language. So we're using present simple and present continuous for daily routines. So yeah, I would recommend just rewatching the previous English for Everyone chapters just to see recognizing the routine expressions, which we did cover before. I think if I remember correctly. Routine and free time so chapter 8 is going to have it. So all the vocabulary you have in chapter 8 is going to be coming back again for daily routines. Everyday activity as well for chapter 9 is also going to be reused again. So phrasal verbs like I get up, he made the bed, etc. is going to be brought back to chapter 15 daily routines. So it's good to just revisit old chapters so you at least know how to jump back into this. All right, so with that being said, we're going to move on to segue into our last lesson or last topic for today. So questions, comment, concerns, or suggestions. So yeah, let me know. What do you guys think? Hakezu, I know I'm so glad that you're here and thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate that you're here and you're very fun to talk to. You make me laugh a lot and I love that we can bounce off with like Spanish and French and just shrugging off like why English is the way it is, right? Yeah, we will be diving more into that under the research portion. But yeah, I hope today's stream was beneficial. I hope you learned a lot from today's session. Simply because there's just a lot of stuff to cover, you know? And I think it was very fun, even for me to kind of reach into the back of my head. You guys really like went into the, you really went into the back of my mind, like going through all these drawers and referencing all of the things that I know in linguistics. Like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't touched my linguistic brain since last year. And that was because I was like doing a lot of research and stuff. Like, it's been a while. I took a semester break and stuff to take away, like, to just get some space. But surprisingly, it's still there. I retained something. My master's education is still working. Yeah. Hakezu says thanks for the lesson. Oh yeah, no problem. Thank you so much for your time. Oh yeah, and speaking of which, on the tangent of my master's degree, I just got an email today kind of telling me that I officially finally have my diploma. They're telling me my diploma will be listed under fall 2024 because, oh sorry, fall 2023, because I graduated spring 23. It's just, actually, let me see, I'm thinking about it. I honestly don't know what they're gonna list it. I graduated, no, that's correct. So they're gonna be listing me under fall 23 because technically I graduated spring 23. I walked. Fall 23 was when I submitted my paper and I passed, so they're gonna list me under fall 23 instead of spring 23, which is okay. I don't care. But yeah, it's official. I'm a professor now, guys. You can call me Professor Hana now. It's great. But yeah, that's about it in my final news. I should have said this in the greeting. I realized I forgot about it as I went into the lesson. I was like, oh, it's too late, it's whatever. But yeah, that's a little bit of the other news. Alrighty, so we are about done with today's session. So reminders, I do go on live on YouTube and Instagram Monday. Why is it Monday to Friday? Why is this not fixed? I fixed it. What? Silly goose. Alright, but yeah, let me just see. It says here Tuesday, Thursday, and for some reason it wasn't changed. What happened? So I'm just gonna fix that very quickly so you guys have it here. Things like this happen. I usually copy paste all of my previous streams, but I'm pretty sure it should have said Tuesday to Thursday in the first place. But anyways, I digress. My conversation practice and sometimes my research and discussion will take place Tuesday through Thursday. So just, it's more of a conversation anyway, so that's why I don't dare change the name. It's just conversation practice in any way. And then we have English for Everyone on Tuesday, which is like tonight, every 8 p.m. PDT PST. And yeah, everything else you need to see, it is on Discord. Yeah, so thank you so much again for your time. Again, Hakezu, everyone else who's watching this, I hope you guys learned something beneficial. Feel free to leave comments on the video or on the Discord group. If you want to join the Discord group, the link is in the description. If you're watching this on Instagram, the link is, if you click the link on my profile page, it will open a space where you can find a Discord link, and then you can just click that and join from there. I will post this video after I end the stream. And I need to get ready with just prepping for my work tomorrow and the stream for tomorrow morning. So wish me luck. I hope I get this all done in like the next hour or so. Alrighty. That's it for today's stream. I will see you guys tomorrow for what's it called? I'll see you guys tomorrow for Valentine's Day. Hopefully I don't oversleep. I hope I'll be okay because again, I have a lot of things to do. Because I do want to spend Valentine's Day morning with you guys. So there's that. Alright. So that being said, I wish you all a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Stay hydrated, drink water, eat something healthy. Please get lots of rest. Stay bundled and warm because it is kind of cold in California if you're from California. And Hakezu says, prop to you for waking up at 5 a.m. Thank you so much. I do my best to wake up at 5 a.m. I try to wake up at 4 a.m. so I have time to do something else in the morning, but it's okay. I do my best. Props to you for joining me at 5 a.m. in the morning, Hakezu. Thank you so much for waking up early. I'm also doing that because I'm trying to accommodate friends who are in East Asia. And I was looking at the time zone, so that's why I wake up really early in the morning, because this is like the only time I can actually stream. Most days I feel tired after my real work in LA, so I don't have the energy to stream every day. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for studying and working hard with me. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. I will see you tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. with the Valentine's stream. So take care. Bye, guys. Bye-bye.